Oregon the other day with Francesca Hong. So, all right, we're live. Some people are coming in, and once again, it's my great privilege to have Emily Berge on. I really appreciate you're the new generation of leader who's willing to talk to regular people. But for the new listeners, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll get into the topic.
Sure. Oh, my car was just singing at me. Yes, I'm. I'm. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Berge. I'm running for Congress in Wisconsin's third district, which is the western part of Wisconsin, and then a little scoops up through the central part. That's where I am actually right now. I'm in Stevens Point, the central of the state. So,
Yeah, how's the campaign going? What kind of stuff are you doing?
well, today I spent the morning, got up early, was in Rapids, Wisconsin Rapids by 9:15 this morning, so about a 2-hour drive from Eau Claire, and met with some they have a weekly protest group. We've seen that more and more since, this election, since 20, no,
Yeah.
yeah, 2024. This is a group in Wisconsin Rapids where they meet twice a week actually, and they protest. Then they have these socials too. So I joined them at their social at the library, and then coffee and cookies, and just met with regular people, my favorite. So, and just heard what's on their minds. It's kind of my I show up and it kind of turns into a town hall.
Yes.
I kind of give my spiel, and then we ask questions, and then it turns into this great discussion. So, yeah, that was this morning, and then I took a tour of the Lincoln Center in Stevens Point, which is it's their senior center and ADRC all together, and yeah, learned what all the good work that they were doing there. And then just had a meeting with someone else at a coffee shop here at Ruby Colorful Coffees. I'm sitting right in front of it. And then now I'm here.
Yes.
So,
And what are you feeling from people? What are people saying or what are the concerns and how have they changed since you started this campaign?
yeah. Uh, I think the number one issue that comes up is healthcare. I think that's kind of like the steadiness, that impacts like all ages, all backgrounds. So healthcare is huge. And then that's been an issue for a long, long, long time. But then that's the thing, right? With this Trump administration and Derek Van Orden, they're not doing anything to solve the problem. In fact, they're making the problem worse and adding more problems on top of it. So, we kind of get, so healthcare, our environment. I hear a lot about just this consolidation of power, and money and economics. Why do the billionaires keep getting richer and richer when just regular people are trying to, get a break? So you have those main issues. But then you have like what we talked about last time, with mass federal agents shooting people in the streets and now, taking people away. And so then you have those, or now with Iran, Trump getting us into this war that's not going to make us safer, and it's just going to hurt Americans. So you kind of have like, yeah, then I don't even know what that, just like the main things, and then whatever Trump is doing, and then that Derek Van Orden is enabling him to do and cheering on from the sidelines, sprinkled on top. So,
Yes. And these wars are also very expensive. It's gonna be billions, probably hundreds of billions of dollars again, and we just never have any money. Our backs are always against the wall. We can't get a penny for kids to have lunch, but then they go and just blow people up, killing innocent kids. The first place they bombed, I heard, was 152 girls. Just
yeah,
shooting
a
them down.
school. Yeah, a school. Yeah, they're bombing schools. Yeah.
Yeah, so just the loss of life in multiple different ways. So I appreciate you being out there and doing this. But I mean, as we're on the topic of money, we were talking a little bit when
Mm.
outside money comes into Wisconsin, and we see other areas, I mean, influencing. We saw that with the Supreme Court last
Mhm.
election where, they tried to dump all this money in to essentially buy that Supreme Court seat. And you saw the people of Wisconsin rise up and say, no, thank you very much. We're going to decide who our leaders are.
Mhm.
And I know that that's an issue in your district too. Um,
Mhm.
just maybe share your thoughts on outside money influencing, your primary and the election in general.
Sure. So, news broke last week that it's the DCCC. So this is like the campaign arm of the House Representatives Democrats. so that they are endorsing. They've actually picked, I think, 13 races to endorse in the primaries, and they picked all the top fundraisers in their races, all in their primaries, and then they're going to be funneling more money to these candidates. And then they haven't ruled out spending money against other Democrats. So break it down. They picked the most prolific fundraise, the big money candidates. They pick the big money candidates. They're going to funnel more money to them, and then they're going to, or even spend against Democrats that aren't taking the big money. It's like the typical David and Goliath story, you know? Now, when the news came out last week, to be honest, I wasn't surprised because Washington, D.C.'s been supporting my opponent, Rebecca Cook, for the last year. They actually didn't want me to run. I heard several times that they don't want a primary, that they have their candidate. She can raise money. That's all they want. Now, these are national Dems, insider Dems. They already decided behind closed doors who they wanted to crown for the 3rd Congressional District. And they've done this throughout the country, too. I just am seeing it up close and personal in my race. Well, when they told me that they don't want me to run and they don't want a primary, that just solidified my choice to run because that's stupid. We need the whole point of a democracy is being able the people choosing, electing our leaders, and people don't get to make those decisions behind closed doors. What they're trying to do now is buy the seat, and this is Democrats. Democrats are trying to buy the seat in for DC so they can be a puppet, and I'm not. I'm saying no, and so with these endorsements, my opponent has got a lot of national endorsements because national Dens are funneling endorsements money to her. So nationally, and all the national media too, they're funneling to her. Where I'm the one that's traveling throughout the 19 counties, meeting with people because that's what's important, right? Is the folks that live here and the voters and their families. When we make policy, like I need to be thinking of them, the constituents and the voters. I don't want to be beholden to corporations or millionaires in California. It's these policies, it impacts people, like real people. These are real lives. And that's what I've been centering my campaign on. And when I do get elected, I'm gonna center my policymaking on the people of the third of Wisconsin.
And this has been an ongoing thing. I mean, we can't do the same thing over and over again and
You
expect a
know?
different result, And they anoint these candidates and they use
Mhm,
phrases like, well, this is the more electable person. And then that
mhm,
person goes off and loses. And then we get things like the Democrats saying, well, they previously lost by 30 points and this time it was only 15. So that's actually a win. And so all these things that are misrepresented. I mean, at some point, I'm not an ignorant person. I can tell what I'm being lied to. So I
mhm.
appreciate that you're out there representing the state because, as you say, Washington doesn't know Wisconsin. I'm looking out the window at Wisconsin. I can go touch
Yeah,
the grass and it's Wisconsin grass.
right,
I know what
right,
the people think more than Washington does. So,
right.
again, thank you for being out there.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's important because, and that's what I'm saying too, is I'm talking to people like the 3rd Congressional District, so, Western, Central Wisconsin, we're gonna this is a flippable seat. We are in a swing district in a swing state. We can decide the trajectory of our nation, and it's actually very powerful and for people. But even before that, we have a choice. We have a choice in August. Which Democrat do we want to go up against Derek Van Orden? Do we want to pick the big money Democrat? That's my opponent, Rebecca Cook, or the people's candidate. That's what people apparently people are. I didn't even make that up. People are calling me the people's candidate
Yes.
on socials, which I kind of love. So, but starting in August, that's when, and then if we can pick the people's candidate, that sends a message to DC. It doesn't, we have to stop this sometime. We just have to stop this cycle of money and politics and losing because it doesn't work. All it does is it funnels money to their buddies in DC. Oh, that's all this is.
Yeah, and I just appreciate again. I say it over and over again, but you've been a person who's been willing to talk to me. Before this started, I had no idea. I was just reaching out to every candidate. So I sent multiple messages to Rebecca Cook and never got an answer. And I just don't understand why you wouldn't talk to somebody who have a big following on a platform like this. And it's just, is it fear? Are they afraid of like controlling the message? I mean, Why can't we just say, this is what the people of Wisconsin need and have that exchange and then have our representatives listen to the people and instead of
Right,
lecture to us, attend
right,
to our needs and fix things. So your thoughts
right.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Why is this so difficult? And I have always said, because I am going up against big money and the establishment with, they didn't want me to run. I ran anyways. And so I hear when I talk to people outside of our district, outside of state, they're like, oh, well, she has the big money. I'm like, but it's still up to the voters. I still believe in democracy. I still believe in the voters and the people of Wisconsin that's how it should be. And if I didn't run, like then they would be, yes, crowning their representative. And that's just not to not give people a choice. And if people want to vote for her, they can vote for her. I'm not saying she shouldn't run. If people
Yeah.
want a good fundraiser, they can vote for her. Maybe some people think that's important in politics. I don't think so, but that's the difference, right? Like, I want my whole thing too is why I'm running is to be the change I want to see in the world.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why I'm running.
I know a lot of people are very, very frustrated with the Democrats. Their approval rating is pretty much on
Mhm,
par with the GOP, and it's because it really feels like the only thing they care about is fundraising. They don't
mhm,
care about actually winning elections or solving our problems, and then they
mhm,
pressure us. And how is it not helpful to have multiple candidates canvassing the district,
mhm,
spreading the message, getting
mhm,
everybody activated? I mean, why do
mhm,
they want you to sit at home and do nothing and then just
mhm,
cross our fingers and hope we can buy the election with, you know, money from out of state to run ads. So
mhm.
again, I applaud what you're doing. The
I'm
other
trying.
yeah, well, I wanna pivot though too because, I mean, we just had the primary in Dallas or in Texas, and it's really frustrating. It's the same old story. There weren't enough polling places. People were left in line to vote. Jasmine Crockett filed a motion to allow them to stay open. The Supreme Court knocked that down. So they separated out a bunch of votes that they didn't count. And it seems like this happens in every single election. And then we're supposed to instantly be pressure and rally behind the candidate until the next time there's an election and they're not counting votes again. Now, I know
Mhm,
you run one of the biggest cities in your district, and I'm sure you're going to make sure that the polling places there's
mhm,
sufficient polling places for everybody.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
what are your thoughts on that? And just making sure we have a fair vote.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should make it as easy as possible for citizens to vote. Like, why are we making people stand in line for hours? And then I guess, I don't even know if they have same day registration. Wisconsin's lucky that we have same day registration, but how it used to be, like, I think they may have, but you stay in line to vote or to register, then you have to get in the back of the line to vote, and this can be a 4-hour ordeal on big, elections. So, right. And it's barriers to vote. It makes it harder for people to vote. And again, voting is the whole basis of our democracy. And we are better off the more people vote. So yeah, it's ridiculous that we haven't had this figured out. And again, this is something that we could fix, to your point. We could fix this. We could make policies that for so many people, you need this many, like one polling location per this many people. We can make sure it's adequately staffed, that poll workers get paid. Like there's so many solutions here that we could do. I mean, those are just a few, but just, yes, like automatic voter registration. Why don't we just automatically, have people vote or register to vote?
Yeah, and just these predetermined narratives too. Um, because it's concerning to me that even one vote wouldn't be counted, and it's just you've seen it just yesterday it happened where they were deliberately saying do not count these votes, and I just find that really concerning that that comes out of the Democratic Party. I mean, in the Democratic primary. So, I mean, I applaud you too. The pressure to tell you not to run is part of that same anti-democratic process. This whole
Mhm.
control mechanism. People keep wondering why things don't work. And then you look
I
and see
know.
we aren't fighting to defend votes. We aren't allowing a democratic process to happen naturally
Mhm.
and supporting it. I don't know what other external pressures or thoughts on that can you add?
Well, I just think, I mean, money in politics and establishment messing things up has been a problem for a long time. I do think that it's starting, like people are starting to pay attention, and the problems we have aren't partisan. Democrats and Republicans both have a money problem. They both use big money. They both use super PACs. They find the loopholes, so but people are paying attention. And I think part of it too is, this whole Epstein, how the rich and powerful protecting these people, these like the rich and powerful protecting rich and powerful, and it's just these all this stuff that happens behind closed doors. It feels icky. Like it just doesn't sit well. Like that's not I know we've had bad things in our history, but the promise of America was to have,
Yeah.
yeah, this democracy of everyone being able to vote and like really our representatives being of actually representing the people. I mean, that's the whole basis of our country. Um, and I think we still do have those there. I know that's what I believe in. That's why I'm running. And I think more and more people are opening their eyes to what's really happening because they tell us not to worry about it, right? They tell us, like, don't look here. It's fine. We got this. But now we're starting to not really trust them. And we're starting to see things and that they're not able to gaslight us as much, So and me being on the inside now it's just as bad as it's worse, how much money dictates everything. It's just really disgusting. When I was thinking of running, or even I'll just say, I've gotten to know political people, and they're like, "Oh, I would never run for Congress because in Congress you're expected to do 50 hours of call time, like so you're elected to represent your district, and you're expected by the establishment to do like 40 hours a week of call time, and so that's calling rich people for money, dialing for dollars is what they call it. Even be running as a candidate, they told me, will be prepared to do 50 hours of call time. Now, if I'm doing 50 hours of call time, that means I'm not visiting the senior center. I'm not visiting the protest group in Rapids. I'm not talking to you and your viewers. Like if I'm stuck in an office with the door shut, I'm not out in district listening to people. I'm calling millionaires in California. And it's just backwards. But I just want to make the point too that so people say, well, I don't want to be in Congress because you have to do all this call time. I'm like, well, what if you were just, because they do that to get elected, I guess, they use money. But what if you just show up for your people? What if you just like listen to your voters and then you get reelected that way?
Mhm.
Like, what if you really represent your district and that's how you get reelected? You're just a good representative. And that's my plan. I plan to be everywhere in the district. I don't want to be stuck in an office calling people for dialing for dollars, you know, because and then I can get elected that way,
Yeah.
reelected.
Yeah. Well, and how many votes does it take to win this district? I can't remember. I've looked it up in the past, but
Yeah, the primary is that's why primaries are like I feel good about my chances because the primary is about though there listen, okay, I'm gonna do quick math. It's about 84,000 people voted in the Democratic primary in 2024. So 2 years ago. Now for the general, so that's not very many.
mhm. That's the total
Um
votes, okay, across everybody. You need them.
yeah,
So you need
well, the Democratic.
okay.
Yeah.
So you need 42,001 to win that.
That's the win number. Yes, exactly. Yep,
And
yep.
and this is a long campaign. You've been at it for a long time, and I mean, I'm assuming you're talking to hundreds of people at a time, so it starts to add up, and hopefully we get some good word of mouth. But this message is so important. I mean, people are talking we don't know where this money's coming from, this money that's coming out of state. And of course, if you're getting money from out of state, and you can be a perfectly good person, this is business as usual, you get that pressure, you take that money. But if you take that money, someday soon that phone call's also gonna come, right? To tell
Yeah,
you to vote no on. And if you're
right.
the one canvassing the state, you're not beholden to those kind of interests.
That's
So
exactly it. That's exactly it. Yeah, I'm not beholden to corporations. I'm not beholden to millionaires and billionaires. No, I'm beholden to the people. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, my average donation is like $28. And to be honest, they do come from out of state because, if we can, we're sending a message.
mhm,
Before when I started running, even though it was annoying, they told me not to run, and I ran anyways because that made me mad. But before my messaging was, this is a seat that we can flip from red to blue. But now my messaging with the establishment being so blatantly like all about money and my primary, now the message is we get to choose. We get to send DC establishment a message in the primary. And let's not vote for, the money candidate. Let's vote for the candidate that's doing things differently. That's me.
Yes.
Let's vote for and let's send a message. And so I think we can send that will help if Wisconsin can reward that, that will
Yes.
help across the whole country. And that message is resonating with people across the country. So my point being that I am getting small dollar donations from outside the state as well, but not from millionaires or billionaires or corporations or PACs. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so critical because I mean, there are Democratic representatives like Cuellar in Texas who voted for the SAVE Act. I mean, we can't have
Mm,
Democrats voting for the SAVE Act, And so, yeah,
no.
and I guess I think he just won his primary, and I'm sure the person he was. But what is the process like where they're pressuring you not to even be in the primary? Is this you said that's just phone calls or that's a meeting?
Why? What? Yeah, so when I was thinking of running, I was talking to local folks and they said, well, you should talk to DC folks. I'm like, okay, I'll call DC. And so yeah, it's the DC establishment. There's certain people, kind of the insiders that I talked to, and they said that they have their candidate, um, Rebecca, who's one, or this is her third time running, and she knows how to her background is in fundraising. She knows how to fundraise, and so they don't want a primary. They told that to me. Um, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh my god. What do you mean you don't?" Like, she's already lost twice, like, I wanna win. Like, we have to win this seat. Like,
Yeah. And they're
um
perfectly happy to have a primary against Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's an incumbent. So there's a certain group that DC they're not consistent with their message. And I what bothers me too is we have seats, in various state level and throughout the country where Republicans run unopposed. So it doesn't, it's odd to me that you'd have outside money in a primary to influence a primary when we should be sending that money to help support somebody, against a Republican who doesn't even have somebody running against him.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it doesn't really make sense, but it's just follow the money is usually then it does make sense.
let me switch to positive stuff because I appreciate you so much. And I just want to know what more I can do to help out. I mean, who can I talk to and who can people in the chat talk to? What can we do to help you? I suppose we get your donation page. I should dig that up.
And I do would appreciate yes, because I am, I'm not taking corporate PAC. I'm not, um, yeah, I yes. So any like $5, $10 helps tremendously. Because you do need money to raise to run a campaign. I have a campaign manager to help me, and I need signs and literature and things like that. So yes, donation is very much appreciated.
That's
Um,
bergieforcongress.com.
yep, Berge for
Bergieforcongress.com.
Congress. Yep, bergeforcongress.com. So BERGE for Congress.com. There is a volunteer form on there too to fill out for people in the district. I'm doing a lot of events, again, meeting people where they're at. So that's always helpful. We'll eventually be doing door knocking, canvassing. So if
Okay.
people want to lace up their tennis shoes and go door to door, that's great. Phone calls, text messaging, but really, and I don't know, like, so our district is Eau Claire, La Crosse, Stevens Point. So if people just talking to people. So if you know people in the district, just that's what I'm telling. It's like good old fashioned grassroots. I'm doing this old fashioned way, just talking to people, and then they talk to people, and they talk to people because that matters, right? Like I've been telling people, when you're looking for a doctor to go to, um, you ask your friend, right? Like who should I go to? Or what pediatrician do you like for your kids? And you're going to trust what your friend says compared to any ad you see
Yes.
on the TV or in what mailer you get. And so that's so powerful. So for people just to talk people to vote Berge in August again, so we can send DC a message that they don't get to crown their candidates, whoever has the most money. So just that, yeah, that's huge. Grassroots, yeah, and social media, sharing my stuff there, um, Berge for Congress. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Blue Sky. I'm working on Substack. I'm hoping to get a presence there too. But
I'm
yeah,
here.
but
Anytime you
yeah,
need yeah, anytime you wanna be on, just shoot me a message and I'll put you on, we'll share, and I'll bring more people in, but we did this one kinda last minute. But I do
yeah,
wanna emphasize too, I had a business and it's the same thing. Everybody's always afraid of that big money, like, that's insurmountable. But people have common sense too, you know? And nobody's happy, and so people I'm just telling this to everybody to feel fortified, because I found in my business, yes, exactly like you said, you identify people, you talk to them, the word of mouth, that overcomes the big money every single
hmm
time. So putting down that
yep,
effort, everybody getting out there and just like actually getting a little bit of representation back, just a little bit, you know?
yeah, yeah. Let's show them how it's done, right? Let's show them how it's done.
And when are we going to start opening it up where you're doing the door to door thing? That's a few months down the road.
So we have spring elections right now. Well, in a month, and so after that, we'll start doing that more door to door knocking. So
Yeah.
I need to I need to gather 1 to 2,000 signatures to be on the ballot. So those have to be in by June 1st, and then probably after that, we'll start hitting it hard.
Oh, and that's your door to door people will be getting those signatures, or is that something we can
Yeah,
send in?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Again, if people sign up on my website, bergieforcongress.com, and then we'll start putting out stuff. We've already started putting out like a weekly email of things I'm kind of doing. And so today, after you and I talk, I'm actually going to go to UW Stevens Point, talk to students there. Tomorrow, I need to be in Fenimore, which is 3 hours away. By 9:30 in the morning, we'll be leaving at 6:30 tomorrow morning, and then I have a couple events in Fenimore and then Platteville, and then I'll be with UW Platteville students tomorrow night.
Mhm.
Um, so we're putting out emails of where I'll be, so people are in the district can share those emails, show up. Always looking for volunteers. I have a great volunteer base. Like I may not have $4 million, but I have about 400 volunteers. So yeah, it's great.
Perfect. And I do my morning chat starting at 8 a.m. So anytime you just want to jump on for just 10 minutes or 5 minutes and just say, hey, this is where I was today, I'd be happy to host you for that too. Just a quick
Yeah,
thing from the car. The more we can get people seeing you and just
yeah,
developing energy, the quicker
I
it'll
love that.
grow. Yeah.
I love that.
Well,
Thanks, Walter.
we've just got a couple minutes left. I got to run and get my kids. So it's
Yeah.
like life is still going on. But are there any last words or things you want to say? Thanks so much for being here again.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you and all the work you're doing, and everyone that's listening and watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. And things I know things are really feels really terrible right now, but there's so much hope. I'm seeing it as I travel through the 19 counties. People are fired up, and it feels good. It feels good out there. So we got this. We're gonna show them.
Yes, and let's show them that Wisconsin gets to choose its representatives, not
Yep.
big money, not Washington. This is our
Right.
district, and we
Right.
want the people's choice. We want Emily
Yeah.
to represent it.
Yeah. Yes. Let the voters decide throughout the whole country. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
people are so excited. So good. All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so
Good.
much. Try to get some rest. I'm sure you're busy, but good luck with your
Yeah.
campaigning for the
Yeah,
next
I'm
year.
just gonna keep moving. Yeah, okay.
All right.
Right.
We'll see you. Bye
See
bye.
ya.
Bye,
Yep,
everybody.
bye.